Simon, I'm landing these clients. It takes me like 5 calls to land them, but then I land them, and then after 3 months, they're happy. I solved their problem, and they're gone. Is there a way to land clients for 3 years, not just 3 months? So I called Jay Fairbrother and said, Jay, this is the problem. Do you have a solution? And he says, sure, Simon, I'm the masterminds guy. Let's see how masterminds can help with that. So welcome, Jay.
Thanks, Simon. Pleasure to be here.
How can people turn short relationships with their clients into long ones?
Yeah, so so many people have the problem that you identified, which is they offer some kind of a short-term solution, whether that's a one-on-one package or a course or a 3-month group coaching program. And like you said, at the end of it, people are like, thank you very much. I love the program. And now I'm moving on. And that's, creates this client churn that most people struggle with in terms of keeping clients long term. So one of the key things about creating mastermind programs is that, first of all, you get a longer initial commitment. So, 6 months, preferably 12 months to join your exclusive elite inner circle mastermind program. But the program doesn't end in 6 or 12 months. If you structure it correctly and you work intentionally to build the value over the course of those 6-12 months, at the end of that 6 or 12 months, it's just renewal time. It's not the end of the program and they move on, but hopefully you renew those clients for another year, possibly 3. So that's sort of the principle behind it. And the execution is in how to create a value-packed mastermind.
I'm sure everybody right now goes, oh yeah, I want this. So where do they start?
So I think the first thing to talk about is what is a mastermind, because there's a lot of confusion. The term is, especially in the thought leader industry, coaches, consultants, et cetera, I would say 75% of what is labeled a mastermind out there in the marketplace is really just a glorified training group coaching program. And the key difference is that in most training and group coaching programs, it's limited to the one-to-guru relationship, meaning the only real relationship they're building is with you as the thought leader or the person running the program. They're not building relationships with the other people that are going through the program with them. They might get to know, the extroverts in the group because they're always the ones coming on stage and asking questions. But there's no intentionality to build the relationships and tap into the mastermind brain trust that is the origination of the term, which is Napoleon Hill coined the term mastermind like 90 years ago. And his concept was very simple. You put one person with a brain in a room, second person with a brain, and it creates this third invisible, intangible force that he called the mastermind. And if you imagine putting 8 to 14 people in the same room, the size of the invisible, intangible force that's created when you tap into the collective experience, the collective knowledge, and the collective wisdom of everyone in that room. So that's the original Napoleon Hill concept for a mastermind, is that small cohort. It's not a revolving door where it's different people every time, but a group that stays together and, builds trust and builds that relationship and that deeper levels of human connection so that you have those vulnerable conversations instead of less surface level kinds of conversations that usually happen in courses and group coaching programs. So that's sort of the original concept of what a mastermind container should look like. And I'll add just one more thing. The reason I say 8 to 14 is because below 8, and you're limiting the size of that invisible, intangible force that can be created. And if you get any larger than that, one of the key principles in a mastermind is that in every single meeting, every person should feel like they have a voice and they participated. And if you have 20, 30, 50 people in a program, you're going to need like a 3, 4, 6 hour meeting for everyone to really feel like they participated and had a voice. So there, you can grow programs to larger than 15 people. That's what I call a hybrid program, which is kind of a cross between group coaching and that original Napoleon Hill concept. But again, the key is that you're intentional about building relationships with the people in the program.
What are some questions that you're getting from your clients about building their own mastermind?
I think the biggest question that I get is there's really two, is what kind of mastermind can I create? Like for a lot of people, it's not a obvious choice for how they position it, who it's for, and how they structure it. That's one. And then the second is, am I ready? Because in the coaching industry, especially, we're taught the ascension ladder model, where you have a lead magnet and then a low ticket offer and then a mid ticket offer and then a course and a group coaching program, and then someday you can graduate and have a high ticket mastermind. And that's just not true. There's a lot of people that have created masterminds when they don't have all of those other steps in the process. And if you're intentional about targeting the right people for a mastermind, really understand your ideal client avatar and target that avatar with your marketing messaging, you can get to that high ticket mastermind much more quickly than needing to build all of those steps in that ladder to get there.
So guys, we can start much earlier with our mastermind. I will ask Jay exactly what are the preconditions, the elements that we need in place so that we can start after one word from our sponsors.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it, leave us a review. For more information, head over to strategysprints.com.
What are the minimum conditions needed to start?
Well, you need some kind of an audience, but the difference is that instead of thinking you need thousands of people coming into your funnel, you may only need 50, 100, couple of hundred. And if you're targeting that smaller quantity with truly right fit people that could join your mastermind program, then you can fill a program with 10, 20 people out of that much smaller audience. So that you need some kind of an audience and some kind of way of attracting those right fit clients. Then I suggest that you also have at least one downsell, right? So that when you're talking to people about your high ticket program, you at least have something to offer. It could be one-on-one package. It could be a course. It could be, some other opportunity for them to work with you on a shorter term basis, like a month or 3 months. And that's for the people who don't love you enough yet to join your 6 or 12-month high ticket mastermind. But it's also something for people who may not have the means at the moment to, as much as they might want to join your mastermind, just don't have the financial wherewithal to jump into it. So you need at least one downsell for that. And then the other thing is just creating the mastermind container itself. And to me, there's no cookie cutter way to do that. There's no one type of mastermind that fits everyone. The key is to develop a program which takes advantage of your superpowers, whether that's coaching and mentoring, whether that's facilitation, whether that's content and training. You want to take advantage of your superpowers, but more importantly, deliver the most transformation for your clients. So to me, every person that I work with to create masterminds, it's like putting pieces of a puzzle together to figure out what is the best sort of strategy, what's the best way to create the container to deliver the most value, and the way to create the container for longevity, so that you're not going to just have people come in for 6 months and leave, but you're going to create a container that can be an ongoing recurring revenue stream for your business.
Are there specific industries that are better suited than others? What's your experience?
Yeah, that's a great question, because in a lot of circles, people think masterminds are just only for entrepreneurs, because it's more common in entrepreneurial circles and in industries. But in fact, a lot of people who are in personal development or life coaching or healing, the mastermind concept is even better for that type of environment or those types of people, because often the transformation that you provide can't happen in a month or in 3 months. Imagine how much more you can change lives if you get to work with someone for a year or 3 years. So there are different types of masterminds. There are peer masterminds, which I encourage everyone to join or find or create a peer mastermind, because of the value that they can provide just in being with your true peers. There are industry masterminds, which are some of the most common. And the concept there is like, say, we're all car dealers, and we're local, regional, so we don't compete on a national or international basis. And you create a mastermind of other car dealers of comparable size and longevity in business, and you bring them together and you tap into all of the failures and successes and things that they've learned to help each other, become better car dealers. So that's an industry mastermind, and almost any industry can create one of those. As again, there can't be competition, within a single group. And then, there's plenty of different types of masterminds in terms of what the outcomes are and what the transformation is. So I joke sometimes that it's almost impossible for me to talk to someone without my brain just automatically going to, 2 or 3 masterminds that they could create. And I can usually always find some kind of a solution.
How do you help people start their mastermind?
So I have 2 main things. I have a course program that's very linear. It's an 8-module program that basically walks you through soup to nuts, everything you need to create, fill, and launch a mastermind within 60 days. And then I also have my client mastermind, which is where people come in and work with me for a year or 3. To build a sustainable business that they're passionate about, with the high ticket mastermind as the core revenue generation engine of that business.
How to fill the first cohort of the first mastermind? Many times with clients, when we were starting a mastermind, that was the hardest part. After picking the mission and the purpose of it and who is it for, was really getting the first 5 to 8 members. Because what if you get only 4 signing up? And should you let people? And we were debating, hey, should we ask strategic partners to come in for free? Is this a good idea, a bad idea? Should we just not do it at all? How do you solve that first part?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so, obviously you want to develop a strategy so that you're not launching at least until you have that, say, 50 to 100 people who are already warmed up to you, who already know something about you, you've got some kind of relationship with, that you can nurture on a fairly quick basis into the mastermind, and then schedule a launch date based on that, structure of what you can put in place for the month or two as you're, leading people in. There's no, magic answer to that. Do I start with 4 or do I postpone until I get another 4? It really is just going to depend on your timetable and, again, the structure of the mastermind, because there are ways, you can structure a mastermind that it is a cohort, like the Napoleon Hill, right? Like once you launch, like, until there's a certain renewal point or something like that, you're not bringing other people in. There are ways you can launch and have a more of an open enrollment in your mastermind, but there's certain strategies that you need to adopt when you do that, because, again, it's all about the relationships and the trust that people develop in the group. And if you've got a group, even if it was 4 people that have been meeting for several months, and suddenly you bring a new person into that group, it's kind of like the white blood cell entering the red blood cell stream, right? It's going to set the group dynamic back a little bit. Like, who is this person? Do we trust them? Are they going to honor confidentiality? So then there's things you can do to integrate new people into a program, so that you might take 1 step back, but you don't need to take 2 or 3 steps back if you integrate new people properly.
Next problem that we hear often is, okay, I have these people, they're interested, but they want to try it out. They want to come to one meeting, to one session. But if I allow that, I'm destroying the safety of the group, the container. And if I don't allow them, they can't try it out.
Yeah, it's a great question too. So yeah, you don't want that. You're right. It will destroy the container when you just have people coming in to check it out in your normal meetings. So one of the things that I teach people how to do is create what I call a pop-up mastermind, or a taste of mastermind session. And this is before you launch, but you bring in the qualified prospects that you've already vetted, that you've already talked to, that you think would be right fit people for your mastermind. And you create a sort of sample mastermind meeting for them to get to know each other, to give them a taste of the kinds of things that you'll be doing in the program. And what you're really trying to do in that pop-up mastermind is get people to see or realize that, oh my God, these people that were in that meeting with me, they're so much like me. They have similar challenges and fears and frustrations. They have similar aspirations and goals. And to give people that a little bit of a taste of that invisible, intangible force that Napoleon Hill talked about. So you're correct. You don't want just people popping in and out, because it destroys the safety of the container.
Jay Fairbrother, everyone, the Mastermind Guy. Where can people find you? Who should contact you? Who should not contact you?
So I'm easy to find on the internet, just with my name, and sixfiguremasterminds.com. Really, I work with people at most levels of creating a sustainable business as a coach, consultant, thought leader, speaker. If you're brand new and you still haven't even figured out like who your target market is, and you haven't created an offer that's selling at some level, whether that's one-on-one or selling courses, you might be premature. But I also do a 3-day event, a virtual 3-day event, a few times a year. And that event is actually designed for all levels of people, whether you're just starting out. We do some very foundational stuff in that event to help you figure out what kind of mastermind you can create and who are the right people to fit it. So those 3-day events, I've had brand new people come in and love it and get a lot of transformation. I've also had existing 7-figure coaches and consultants come into those 3-day events, and they get just as much value and transformation from all of the exercises and things that we do in those.
Thank you, Jay, for being on the show. Keep rolling, man.
Thanks, Simon. I appreciate it.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints.